the world to us to see so many people in attendance. My name is MacDonald. I run the Northern Kentucky chapter of Moms Demand Action. And I just am so grateful for everyone that's attending and to the organizers. Let's give it up for them. Woo. Our children should not be having to do this. They should not have to demand action, but we are where we are. So I should look at the script. I gotta be honest, I didn't really write much of a speech because I've stood here before and I gave a speech and I hoped to rally the troops and we marched to the high school and we did all the things that we did and nothing happened from there. In fact, it got worse. Our state senator, Will Schroeder, after that march, passed a permitless open carry bill. Now, if you don't understand what that means our Campbell County's state senator wrote a bill and co-sponsored it saying that you can walk around with an AR-15 without being vetted and without having a permit. It's unacceptable, and we're here to say we're done. Enough. So, what do I say to you guys here? So let's talk about solutions. We know, we have evidence, peer-reviewed evidence, that universal background checks, a 30-day wait to obtain a weapon, a background check, and red flag laws would prevent so much gun violence. We know not one of these things will solve this, but not one of these things has been tried to solve this. With each shooting, we see bills that get worse and worse, that give more rights to guns than anyone in this room. So we need to enact change. We can't march here to the high school and go home and get comfortable. We're past that point. It's only going to get worse from here. So what can all of us do that are standing here? Well, first of all, let's stop the glorification of guns. Every Republican that will be on the ballot in 2022 on the Republican side has ran, and I should make an exception except for Steve Pendry, our judge executive. He has not run on a Second Amendment justification, but every other candidate on that ballot has put pro-Second Amendment in their top 3 priorities. Not one of them has you as their priority. Not one of them. Boo! Yes, let's hear it. But on the Democrat side, I can assure you that you have a full ballot of pro-common sense gun regulation candidates. Some of them showed up for you today. Raise your hand if you're running for office. All right. Yes, let's hear it up. So if we want to see change, we have to change who represents us. We have to change the people we're sending to Frankfurt and sending to DC. You have a ballot full of people ready to fight for you, but we have to fight for them to get them elected. They can't do this alone. We all know the dynamics of the community we live in. We all know how they're going to vote. We know that, your neighbor was best friends with this person, and so they're going to vote for them even though they walk around with an AR-15 as though that makes them qualified to pass a policy. No, it makes them qualified to murder. We got to end it now. So I encourage everyone here, if you're over 18, vote. If you will be 18 at the time of the election in November, register and vote. If you cannot vote, what can you be doing? Call your legislators. And I don't mean call once because of some bill that's on the floor. I mean call on your way to school, on your way home from school, on Saturday, on Sunday. Every minute of every day we've got to fight this fight. It's not going to change unless we change it. So I want to empower everyone here to know that representation, those representatives, they're getting paid with our tax dollars to represent our voice. Do you guys feel like you're represented right now?
No.
Do you guys feel like it's time for change?
Yes.
Are you guys ready to work for the change?
Yes.
And that's what we got to do. And it's going to make people uncomfortable. Because the next thing that you got to do, which is the hardest part, is you got to advocate. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you need to ask your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, your mayor, your city council members, every elected representative, your principals, your superintendents, every day. Ask them what they do to make you safer. And I don't mean, get us an SRO. We know that's not the solution. We need their voices to amplify your voice. If you are a superintendent of a school, your voice is larger than ours. You need to be advocating when you're not at school to the legislators to fight for you guys so you feel safe. No one should be scared to go to school. No one should be scared to go to the grocery store, church, funerals. I mean, we're at a point where you are not safe anywhere anymore because of the gun epidemic. And the epidemic won't change unless we change it. So, as I wrap this up, I'll say something that has stuck with me since I started advocating against gun violence. My first time lobbying as a Moms Demand member, I met a man named Richard Martinez. His son was executed with gun violence, and he told me that he was so proud to see people that weren't affected by gun violence show up, and that was what helped him fill his cup back up. But he also told me that we can't ensure that we won't be victims. We can't ensure we won't be survivors. But what we can do is know that if we are a victim or we are a survivor, we did more than he did. He told me how he would come home from work, eat dinner, watch TV, and he didn't get bothered with politics. He didn't like the discomfort of getting engaged. But now, he quit his job and he does it full time, and he has to live with the guilt that he sat and did nothing until his son was executed. All of you here today, you don't have to live with that guilt. You're fighting for the right side of history. I know it can be lonely. I know it can be hard. I know you can feel like you are just on an island alone and nobody hears you. But I promise you, as someone who has been doing this for over 20 years, your island won't stay lonely because you're on the right side of history. All of you are on the right side of history. Don't back down. Don't stop. Get loud. And all of you go make good trouble because your lives matter. Thank you so much for showing up.